Welcome back to more Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Last time we got through more of the Twilight River, so this time we're going to rescue Olimar. For today, I want 60 winged Pikmin and 40 yellow Pikmin. On the way over to the tree where Olimar is, I wanted to talk a little bit about the winged Pikmin and their history in the series. In the very first game's ending, there are multiple onion colors that were unaccounted for at the time, including orange, green, cyan, purple, black, and pink. This caused a ton of speculation at the time about what these Pikmin would be like, or if we'd be getting them in sequels, and one has actually been added in each game so far. So in Pikmin 2 we got purple Pikmin, though they don't actually have an onion in that game. In this game we got winged Pikmin that are pink, and in Pikmin 4 we're getting cyan Pikmin, or ice Pikmin. I actually really like how in each sequel they've been gradually filling in the blanks from that original ending by adding new Pikmin types. But with that, all that's left is to climb this path to the top of the tree. I hope Olimar is alright. We have to help Olimar. Our next boss is the Scornet Maestro. It basically can command the various Scornets around here to attack us. It'll basically charge the Scornets at us in various patterns. First of all, it starts by launching them in a straight line at us, which is relatively easy to avoid by keeping moving like so, and once all the Scornets are gone, we can charge the winged Pikmin to knock it out of the sky. Use the R to lock on and focus your attacks. We can also use the yellow Pikmin to deal a little bit more damage, but unlike some of the other fights, like the Armored Crawmad, we do have a lot of damage caps in play here, so we can only do so much damage before the phase ends. It's more like the Sand-Belching Mirror Slug in that regard. Phase 2 is basically Phase 1 again, so eventually they'll start charging at us in a straight line again, which again is relatively easy to avoid. But starting with Phase 3, the Scornet Maestro will start to mix things up a lot more, and that is going to be a problem. Potentially. There is actually a workaround to that phase of the fight, and because this is a deathless run, we will be employing that particular strategy. We're going to toss Charlie over here on purpose, and we're going to round up our Pikmin and stand over by the entrance. We want to swap over to Charlie because this next phase is actually really annoying. Basically, the Scornets will be lined up in several rows. What you're supposed to do is basically defeat the Scornets to clear a path through them. Similar to the previous Scornet fight, you can actually rescue the Pikmin if any do get grabbed by Scornets, but again, given that this is a deathless run, I would rather not take my chances, so you can actually use another captain as a decoy, essentially, to lure the Scornets away from the Pikmin. So let's swap over and finish up Phase 3, and then we'll have one more cycle to get through. Like with Phase 3, we want to round up the Pikmin and hide by the entrance, and instead of charging at us, the Scornets will actually surround us and in a ring, and it'll gradually enclose. So you're supposed to defeat the Scornets to actually clear a path through the ring, but again, if you use a captain as a decoy, this is actually relatively straightforward. Basically, we just have to wait until the ring encloses, and then we'll be able to charge a winged Pikmin one more time at the Scornet Maestro to finish off this fight. Captain Olimar! He's not moving. We need to get him to the Drake as soon as possible and make sure he's okay. So, let's have the yellow Pikmin carry Olimar back. I feel like every time I say Olimar, I have to stop and think, because of reasons that'll be obvious coming up shortly, and we'll have the winged Pikmin carry some of the Scornets and the Scornet Maestro back. The Scornets actually aren't worth that many Pikmin, but we do need to build up our winged Pikmin numbers for the next day. There are actually like 100 Scornets here, so we won't be able to carry them all back at once, and because the individual Scornets are only worth like 1 Pikmin, we're not going to worry about coming back for all the Scornets, though they will despawn eventually, but again, they're not exactly worth a whole lot. We will try to carry back as much as we can though, which should take up our entire squad, meaning we won't be able to actually work on any other tasks until some of the Scornets have actually been delivered to the Onion, and until Olimar and the fruit are actually delivered. So in the meantime, I guess we will follow this nice little line of Pikmin down through this little path to the main part of the Twilight River again, and I guess we can simply cruise around the area, see what else we can find in the meantime. Again, this is why I recommend having a lot of flower winged Pikmin, because again, their carrying speed isn't exactly the best, so actually having a little bit of a boost is very nice. Yeah, you can see the yellow Pikmin are way ahead. Something smells wonderful. And yeah, you definitely want to set up all the shortcuts to make this as quick as possible, because again, this is a fairly time-consuming process, especially when you don't have any Pikmin to take care of any other tasks. On the way back, one thing I did want to mention is that there was actually a lot of speculation about Pikmin 3 in terms of winged Pikmin, about the cursor actually. In an initial E3 showcase, people noticed that the cursor extends upwards, so people actually thought we were getting flying Pikmin all along, even long before winged Pikmin were even officially announced. So yeah, it's very interesting, the history of Pikmin rumors in terms of Pikmin types and speculation about games in terms of like what kind of Pikmin we're getting, what their abilities would be like, and yeah, it is very cool to see some of these original Pikmin colors actually show up in a game like this. But with that, Captain Olimar, in air quotes, is almost back to the Drake. Analyzing. We're receiving a transmission from the Drake. Analyzing recovered life form. Life form is in stasis. Subject spacesuit has activated forced sleep mode. This individual possesses the cosmic drive key. I hope this forced sleep wears off soon so we can question him. So we have to wait until Captain Olimar wakes up, and our Pikmin seem like they're gradually arriving back at the landing site. I mainly wanted yellow Pikmin because we're generally lower on yellow Pikmin than some of the other Pikmin numbers, and also because they can actually reach the Scornet Maestro in theory. So for example, you can actually toss yellow Pikmin up to it instead of charging with winged Pikmin, though this is a little bit more efficient, but again, winged Pikmin are not as effective in combat, so in some ways, actually using yellow Pikmin might be a little bit faster. So yeah, with the Scornet Maestro, we should actually have quite a few pink Pikmin, or winged Pikmin. We should actually be over 100 if I'm not mistaken, which is definitely good. Once we get a little bit more of our squad built up again, we will go out and try to find a few more fruits in this area with our remaining time. So we did blow up the stone wall in the previous area, we want to go after that in a bit, but over here we have another fruit. We also have a water dumple. Luckily, the Pikmin will fly straight over it, so we won't have to worry about that for now. But we have another set of dusk pustules over here, so we'll have the winged Pikmin work on that. I actually want to leave Alpha over here, because again, the winged Pikmin will return here when they're done, and we might as well round up some of the pellets as well. Again, we kind of have to wait for more of the winged Pikmin to come back, unfortunately. But once we have maybe 20, or maybe 15 to 20, we'll go after the fruit that was behind the wall. We have that little arena area as well. We might go over there as well. Also, I don't think I've actually mentioned this yet, but if you whistle and the Pikmin is in the middle of a task, the Pikmin won't immediately come to you. It'll actually stop and basically wait for you to whistle again to make sure you want to actually cancel the task. This is nice in some ways and annoying in others. In cases where you're frantically trying to get Pikmin to stop a task, like if you're trying to whistle them at the end of the day, it can be a little bit stressful having to like whistle at them multiple times to get them to actually come to you. But if a Pikmin is in the middle of a task, it's actually nice that they won't immediately stop the task entirely based on just accidentally whistling. Like right here, if we want to whistle these Pikmin, but don't want them to stop their task, this is actually really nice. We have 30 now, so let's leave the yellow Pikmin over here, and we will collect the fruit over here. This area is really nice, actually. I do really like the music in Pikmin 3. It's very traditional for the series, where it's kind of like very upbeat and kind of atmospheric. I really do like the atmosphere in Pikmin games. In general, I feel like Pikmin 3 isn't exactly one of the most graphically impressive games ever, but it definitely does have an art style that I think is really appealing. And that goes for all the Pikmin games too. Like, I just really enjoy this series. I definitely think Pikmin 3 is one of my favorite games. I definitely think it might be my favorite of the original trilogy, though to be fair, I actually also have a soft spot for Pikmin 1 and even 2, just because I grew up with both games. Again, Pikmin 3, because it's not nearly as old, it's, 10 years younger than the others, I definitely feel like I have a lot less nostalgia for, which in some ways is kind of like... I do like the game still, but it almost feels a little bit less familiar in some ways, to the point where, especially with a playthrough like this, it's been a little bit stressful, actually, because I don't know things as well. Like, with Pikmin 2, I know the game like the back of my hand, essentially, so it really isn't that worrisome trying to go through that game. I think I'm actually going to drop off the yellow Pikmin. We have plenty of winged Pikmin for this. We'll take out all the winged Pikmin we have, which will mostly be leaves, but I'll be fine for what we're going to do with our remaining time. We still have quite a bit of the day left, so we want to go over to that arena we spotted earlier, and we actually want to try out the Ultra Spicy Spray. I really hope 2 is enough for something coming up in the future. I think it will be enough, but we might want to stop and collect some more if we have enough time. I actually don't think we'll have enough time on this day. We might have to collect some on a future day, but we'll see how it works out. I think 2 will be plenty, though. So, we want to go over here and use the Y button menu to activate this. The Pikmin got a real boost there. The Ultra Spicy Essence seems to make them more aggressive. Use Ultra Spicy Nectar to invigorate Pikmin and boost their attack power. Obviously, the reason I wanted to use it is we have a Burrowing Snagrit, which is a complete pushover under the circumstances. Before we start carrying things back, I also want to go over here because we can actually set up another shortcut. So now that I have a much shorter route back to the Drake. So we'll carry the fruit and the Snagrit back. I'm pretty sure this is the only one in the main story, which is actually kind of interesting given how many there are in both 1 and 2. There's like the 3 in the Forest of Hope, and there's like, there's the Snagrit hole as a level, so there's plenty to worry about in that game. Also, we actually can carry it back this time in terms of its full body. In the previous games, it would only be its head left after defeating it. So that's another interesting change there. The day is almost over. I don't think we have enough time to get one more fruit that we could reach today, because we'd actually have to fight like another Arachnode and then carry things back through the cave where the Puffy Blowhog was. So yeah, I don't think we have enough time for that, unfortunately. So in the meantime, with our little bit of time remaining, this is definitely very risky. I'm sort of debating if this is a smart plan because of Pikmin AI. Again, if, like, we get to a loading screen at the end of a day, and the Pikmin are, like, between loading zones, we won't be able to save them, so we definitely want to be a little bit careful here, but I definitely want to build up our spicy spray supply a little bit, just in case we need a backup. Again, 2 should be enough to get us through what's coming up in the near future, but again, it never hurts to have some backups. So yeah, as soon as they're back, I'm going to whistle them so they don't get stuck in a loading zone, basically. And with our 100 winged Pikmin, I am missing one somewhere. I don't know where it is. Oh, it's over here by Alf. That makes sense. So with our 100 winged Pikmin, we're definitely set up for tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure the Ultra Spicy Spray also flowers Pikmin too, so we have mostly flowered winged Pikmin, so we are definitely set for the future. We have a very unusual day coming up, so I'm very nervous about this next section, but overall, our first major outing to the Twilight River was relatively successful. We actually cleared out most of the fruits in this area, so we'll have to come back at some point with water Pikmin to take care of the rest. Hehehe, new fruit, yes! We've managed to gather quite a bit of the fruit of this planet. We'll have enough to save Kopai soon. But not yet. Let's get some more. Knowing this is waiting at the end of the day makes it all worth it. If only I didn't have to share it with the others. Good! We still have plenty of juice left. And with that, we collected quite a few fruits, the Hocotatian, and we very much increased our winged Pikmin numbers. We have 210 now, which is actually definitely overkill. In general, this probably won't be the most exciting replay because most of our day was spent fighting the Scornet Maestro, and it's actually really cool seeing all the Pikmin going in a line like this down the tree and delivering everything to the onions. So yeah, we basically cleared out all that we could except this fruit over here in this cave. We could actually reach this with winged Pikmin, and I'm not sure if you're supposed to, but this is an option, and we'll probably end up exploring that area whenever we return here. But actually, The next day is going to be a little bit weird. I'm actually going to sign off here before the end of day log for reasons that'll be apparent next time. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more Pikmin 3 Deluxe. We finally managed to rescue Captain Olimar, but his suit has put him in a state of deep sleep. All we can do is wait for him to wake up. No sign of the Cosmic Drive Key either. I guess we'll use this time to relax for a bit and get some rest. Not the best day. You can now fight the Scornet Maestro in the Defeat Bosses mission.